Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hi, I'm Soken, Andrew Small.
This is our kidney transplant video. We're going to talk to each other about what it meant. She gave me a kidney 15 years ago. We're going to talk about just what that meant.
When Andrew was 10 years old, he was diagnosed with kidney disease. That was devastating news because we have no family history of kidney disease, and Andrew was a very healthy kid. And he was happy, he enjoyed school and playing sport, and everything was just normal and happy.
Yeah.
Until?
Well, look, it's not quite like that. It's not like I stopped being happy. I never had a happy moment between getting the diagnosis and getting the transplant. That's not true, right? Like you find ways. If you're watching this and you're going through it, you know, right, that it's not all misery all the time. That you find ways to enjoy things. Maybe not quite as much. And I think the difference is when you're going through it, sure you enjoy things, but it feels precarious, right? Like it feels like it's not going to last. Because if you're like me, what's happening is you're waiting. It's like you're waiting for the day where it actually fails, right? You're waiting for the thing to happen next. You're waiting for this to go wrong. And so it's like your life was in limbo. That's what it was for me. For me, it wasn't I didn't enjoy things, but I always had this feeling that this can't last. This won't go for very long.
So it sounds like you're very resilient. Tell us.
Resilient, yeah. Resilient is a good word. But I would rather, look, you're not resilient by choice. I didn't wake up as a 10-year-old and say, I'm going to become a very resilient adult, right? Like, you don't choose to be that way, you're made that way.
Okay.
Looking back on it, I'm thankful that I was made that way. It just took a long time to get there, and honestly, it took the transplant to get there.
Okay, so...
And the thing about the transplant as well, right, is that it wasn't about me. It's not just because I became a resilient person. That's not what defines me, right? Like, I'm not a person who's only resilient. I'm a person, I'm an adult now with a transplanted kidney who is married, may be having a kid this year, maybe passing on, and that's what I'm living for. I'm not living to be this tough guy, this tough, resilient guy, right? That was me maybe when I was suffering from it. That was me when I was sort of waiting for the next step. And that's not a bad life, right? You can live that way, and that's still a solid life, but it's hard to give back if you're just holding on like that. And that's what honestly, if there's anything that the kidney gave me, it's giving me that chance to sort of give back, to kind of pay forward, to kind of create something of my own after that. And you can't do that if you're just hanging on surviving.
So, when you let's share some of your journey when you receive from being diagnosed to transplant. It must be quite difficult as a young boy at that time.
Yes,
and going through all this year, growing up with kidney disease. Did you feel like you were growing up with a baggage?
Yeah.
How did you feel? Well,
it sucks. It sucks a lot. And I mentioned this. We all go through our own struggles, right? We all have our difficulties in life, things that just are not the way we want, things that are bad in our life, things that toughen us up, right? For me, it was my health. I don't know what it is for you. It's something, right? That's the human condition, and we all go through it. And so look, yeah, how did it feel? It felt bad, and it sort of made me tough. But it was like I was sort of constantly playing defense, right? and that I was holding on, that I was surviving, and that I was waiting, right? I was waiting for that thing to happen. Just, one day maybe I would be free of this. Maybe one day I'd have sort of room to kind of do it myself.
So it sounds like a coping mechanism
yes.
to looking forward to one day.
No, honestly, I didn't even look forward to it because you didn't want to get your hopes up, right? You don't. And
you want to be realistic.
Yeah, and so I don't know, I developed a defensive mindset. I cut myself off from a lot of things, and I'm not the only one to do this, right? Many people do this, and so if you're watching this and you're thinking about giving a kidney, I'm sure you've had something in your life that you've gone through that, that you're just enduring, right? And maybe you're enduring it right now, but whatever it is, there's still something. I mean, look, I don't know what it is in your life. You're a private person more than me, maybe sometimes, and
for me, that giving a kidney is a very natural thing for me to do. At the time that I just find that being able to give you a kidney to help you to regain good health.
It's natural, but people are scared sometimes, right? A lot of people are scared,
yeah,
right?
But it was the most meaningful thing I have ever
Were you
done.
scared?
Not very much about scared in the sense of shortening my lifespan, because from the medical team education, and I know that you only need one kidney to live. So,
But that's rational, right?
So
and our fears are never rational.
It's not my fear, but my fear was kind of in a silly way that, is it going to be painful? Of course, every operation would be painful, but only for a few days. And after that, we could go back to the normal life very quickly. In my case, that I only took 6 weeks off, recuperating from home, and went back to work.
It wasn't that
So
bad. It wasn't that painful.
It wasn't well. The first few days were painful, of course, but after that, it's been 15 years now. I've been living in good health, touch wood, and happily seeing you grow, and now from a young boy to a young man now, and I'm sure that you might be, thinking about your future now. From coping stage, hopeless stage, right? When you were diagnosed after the transplant, what's the difference between of your life between the stages?
Well, I think I mentioned this already, but really, you go from if you're going through it, you're in defensive mode, right? You're cooped up, and you're sort of you're just absorbing it, right? And you're fighting it off, and you're able to give something back once you've had the kidney, and it is maybe there are tougher people than me who are going through it and are just waiting for the transplant, and they're able to contribute still. Honestly, I wasn't able to. I was not able to give anything back, really. I was just trying my best to hold on and just to make the best of it. And I think that's probably a pretty normal reaction. But just wait for it, and it might still come. I don't really know what else to say about this.
So, after you get your kidney transplant, it felt like that you more like putting life in charge again.
Yeah, that was not immediate. And there was an adjustment period. There was definitely an adjustment period. When I first had it, it was almost like shell shock, and it was sort of like, wait a second, what happened? Now what? And it took me time to kind of grow into this kind of new life that I had. And maybe part of this is sort of like being like a young adult and growing up, but I had to adjust to it. I wasn't ready to face that. I was feeling defensive for so long, and you grow into it, right? Like, maybe like in many ways I missed a number of years of like, emotional development or something, I don't know. And I feel like maybe I went through those years in the years after having the transplant.
Okay, so for those, I'm hoping as a donor, my experience share that it's immense joy, immense sense of joy and hope. If you could just think about donating a kidney to help someone to put life back in normal, to regain good health, and it's an easy thing to do, not that difficult, not that scary. It just give the whole world a full of life, love, and joy. Thank you.
Yeah, and just to what she said as well, it's turn my life around, and that was it. And there are resources out there, right? If you don't know what you're doing with it, you didn't know what you were doing with it either, right? And then you were able to get help. There's resources out there for you. The people making this video will be able to connect you with lots of resources showing you how to do it and holding your hand through, right? We needed our hands held through the whole process. And that's there for you as well. We don't do it alone, right? I didn't do it alone. You didn't do it alone. You won't do it alone. There's help for you, and people will support you through this. So, give the kidney. It does make a difference. Thanks.
Thank you.